Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to bring to the stage one of my absolute favorite people in the whole wide world, Village Tech founder, CEO, and superintendent, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Thank you both. How do you follow Melina? You don't. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you are here to celebrate 10 plus years of deeper learning in the heart of Texas. And it takes a village to make a Village Tech. And I'm so honored to be here to present our first ever Inside Out Award. At Village Tech, we are Viper Squids. And what started as a joke has turned into our iconic mascot for this landlocked school. The Viper Squid is based on a squid that lives in deep and dark waters. And as a result, it has two key characteristics. One, it has really big eyes so that it can see the light around it. And we know that in education, the light that we're going to find is in our students' eyes. The second characteristic is that when a viper squid is attacked, it turns itself inside out. In the same way, when we face pressure and challenges, we want to lead with our values and with our heart, to seek to be proactive and not reactive, to lean into vulnerability, to show and share our ideas and our encouragement for one another and our collective insights. And tonight, our founding board chair, Dan Price, set the standard for what it means to lead from the inside out. First of all, as you can see from his bio, Dan's kind of a big deal. But you wouldn't know it from talking with him because of his humility. Dan is the president of the Hunt Energy Network. Before that, he served as the chief technology officer with Sherryland Utilities. And he was brought over to Hunt to be a part of the creation of Sherryland Utilities, which was a greenfield utility startup, the first of its kind in 40 years. Dan has a Bachelor of Science in Physics from the University of Texas at Arlington. He is the holder of a patent on meter reading, and he's got several other patents pending. In addition to his professional accomplishments, he happens to be an amazing dad to 3 boys, Joshua, Zachary, and Noah, 2 of which are graduates of Village Tech. As superintendent, I had an opportunity to experience firsthand Dan's kindness, his humility, and his intellect. Because he took a chance on a bunch of kids with a dream about making a great school. Don't get me wrong, we knew what it was to teach students. We knew what it meant to make a learning environment that mattered for kids. But we didn't have connections or capital. We had a Dan. In 2012, I was in so over my head when this started that at our very first board meeting, I forgot to invite Dan, our board chair, to the first board meeting. And of all the things this high-level executive in the Texas energy sector could have said to me, he said, "David, that's okay. I might have missed an email. When's the next meeting?" Fast forward to June 2013, and we are working furiously to get our first campus launched. We have a lease that's been recently signed and no buildings. In order to get buildings, you need architects. And so we scheduled 3 architect interviews for about an hour apiece. And the first architect comes in and we start to describe to them the school that we want to start and how excited we are about it. And the architect says, "Time out. I just want to confirm, we're talking about next summer, correct? 2014. And Dan says, "No, we're talking about this summer, 2013. The architect politely says, "Well, this is impossible," shakes our hands, and walks out the door. It took about 5 minutes. We had 55 more minutes to sit there, and we sat in silence. It would be a couple years before Dan would tell me what was going through his head at that time, and it was, "Oh no, what have we gotten ourselves into?" Well, in fact, it wasn't impossible, because in September 2013, we opened our doors to 640 students in grades pre-K through 8th grade. And we haven't looked back since. And Dan was at the helm, leading us throughout the addition of our high school, our first build of a forge, our unique makerspace that we have. He was in charge as we worked to add an early childhood center, as we purchased and then renovated our phase 1 at our permanent campus in Duncanville, as we then financed and built our second phase at this campus that holds over 1,300 students and has had 7 graduating classes and counting, all at the same time keeping us focused on our mission of forging students who are character-driven, challenge-ready, and community-focused. Not to mention, Dan was the steady hand during the COVID-19 pandemic when schools had to shift online overnight, as we worked to navigate how to take this hands-on school built on a belief in belonging and turn it virtual. And Dan did all of this with a smile and a warmth and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And Dan always says, you know, I've learned a lot more from y'all than you've learned from me. And that's when it hit me. Dan's the Clark Kent of education. Now, Superman's alter ego, because on the outside, Dan wears a business suit, but on the inside, he's an educator. Because every great teacher knows that we learn far more from our students than we ever teach them. Please join me in celebrating our first ever recipient of the VT Inside Out Award, our founding board chair, Daniel Price. Absolute honor, sir. Yes, sir.